Okay, welcome to In the Kitchen with Hannah. Today I'm going to show you how to make an easy weeknight thin crust pizza recipe. So what's really nice about this recipe is that you can scale it up as large or small as you want. So if you're cooking for yourself and you want to have just one pizza that's ready on the go, you can have that, or you can make it larger pizzas, as many as you like. But what I'm going to do today is do a simple recipe that's going to make 4 medium-sized pizzas or 3 large pizzas. So what we'll do in this is we're going to create everything up into the crust. So you can freeze the crust, you don't have to top it, and then whenever you're ready to make the meal, you can pull the crust out of the freezer, dress it, bake it, and be on your way. So in the first part, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. So the reason you want the water to be lukewarm is because yeast is going to bloom at optimally 100 to 110 degrees. So if you don't have a thermometer, which a lot of us don't, think of it as a little bit more than lukewarm. So like if you ran the bath and then you forgot about it and you came back an hour later and there's still a little bit of warmth in it, that's kind of what this is going to feel like. You can stick your finger in it if you don't have a thermometer and it should feel pleasant, not cool, but definitely not hot. The hazard with hot water is that you can actually kill the yeast, so it won't be as productive, and you need that yeast to be working for you. Because even though the thin crust recipe doesn't allow for rising, the yeast is still having an active role in the creation of the crust. So for this recipe, since we're making a smaller batch, we're going to make 4 small to medium pizzas, which is pretty standard when I'm cooking on a weeknight and I want to have 2 small to medium pizzas. I'll go ahead and make all 4 because honestly, most of the work in making pizza is in the setup. So for starters, we're going to have 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. So what I like to use is just active dry yeast, Fleischmann's, and you can get this at the grocery store. It is going to be right next to the bread machine yeast. It's much easier if you make yeast and if you make pizza in any sort of bulk to get the jar. It costs about twice as much as a set of a couple of packets, and then you never have to worry about if the packets have been closed and they're spilling all over your fridge, which is a huge pain in the butt. So you've got your 2 teaspoons of yeast in your lukewarm water, and then next what I'm going to do is add a teaspoon of sugar. So you may be buying away from sugar for any sort of reason, including dietary, but the sugar is really helpful because it actually helps activate the yeast. It gives it something to feed off of, and it helps it bloom and become activated. So if you see the yeast here not activating, you may need to start over. But what I'm going to do is just take a spoon and stir it gently. So I'm going to break up any clumps of the yeast that may have formed. And we'll stir it gently, breaking up those clumps, and that just gives it the opportunity to be fully productive. So this is the part where we're going to let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now, if you're like me and you never use a timer, what you want to do is just set your yeast aside and you can prep the rest of your ingredients for your pizza. So at this point, I'll be cutting the toppings and making other preparations, getting the pans ready to go while this is doing its thing. So we're going to leave it here for 5 to 10 minutes and then we'll come back.